Hello friends, welcome back to Going to Ground with me, Andrew Rumsey, and here I am in my gloomy study, but cosy nevertheless, and the fire lit. It's been a while since I posted from here, but I thought I'd just get in touch as it's been a week or two, and a great Advent, very full Advent, beginning with the glorious Advent processions at the cathedral, which I hope some of you were able to see. Just such a memorable weekend of the Darkness to Light celebrations. Over 1,800 people, I believe, on the last night. I mean, it was absolutely rammed in the cathedral, and it sets me up for months to come. It does me much more good, I think, than Christmas. Actually, that event. It's Advent is the season for me. It's so full of mystery and hope and promise. And it's more tentative. It's about yearning and longing for what we don't quite see. It's a very there's a poetic tension of looking forward for signs of the light and so on. And the celebration of Advent is so welcome. So that was lovely. And then at the weekend, on Saturday, I performed Evensongs, my record, in Ham Church, All Saints Ham in Wiltshire, which is where we recorded it 18 months ago. And it was just a joy to gather there and stand on the spot. David and I recorded the songs and perform them again and give some readings from English ground. So thank you to those of you who came along. The last concert of the year is back to my former manor, my former parish of Crystal Palace in southeast London, on what's called the Triangle of Roads, right at the top of Gypsy Hill, and the finest bookshop in South London called Bookseller Crow, which I used to frequent almost daily in those days when I was vicar of Gypsy Hill, and playing in the bookshop on Thursday night and driving back the same evening. Ridiculously far too old for this, but it's great fun and worth cramming in. And so that's the last live event of the year, but there'll be a few more next year. Friends, I wanted also just to pay tribute to a great groundling, and I heard last week that dear Gill Evans has died, and Gill was over 90 and lived in Dorset and was an avid not only watcher of Going to Ground, but one of my most regular correspondents about this series. And I grew to know her a little in correspondence and love her. Gill was an incredible character of a woman of accomplishment and great taste and learning. She would often comment on what I had talked about that day, and was so good in her very gentle but quite clear corrections of my written posts on my blog site that when it came to the editing of my last book, English Grounds, and I needed a sub-editor, I turned to Gill. And so she sub-edited, she proofread my my book, and there's a credit to her in the acknowledgements there, and was very useful indeed. And I was just looking back over some of my emails from Gill where she has been talking about the placement of a particular comma or semicolon in something that I'd written. And joyously, I had the chance to meet her a couple of years ago when the book was launched. And there was an event in St. Peter's Church in Marlborough where I gave readings from the book and sang some songs. And to my amazement, there was Gill, then about 88, 89, and she'd come all the way from West Dorset, and it had taken her all day to get there. She'd had 3 bus journeys. Talk about intrepid. And friends had helped her, and she'd worked out her journey, and in December, in the middle of the winter, in the dark, and there she turned up at St. Peter's, Marlborough, and it was, as I say, it was joyous to meet and greet her after our correspondence, and she was really guest of honour that night. We never met again, but we stayed in touch, and I had an email from her in the summer, early summer, encouraging me to come down to Dorset with my guitar, mentioning that she'd been unwell, and her last lines to me are, I've got it here, I skipped through 90, she'd passed her 90th birthday, I skipped through 90, but I'm hoping to start to pick up when the weather warms up. My friends and I continue to enjoy going to ground. Please keep it up. Thank you to Lynn for letting me know of her passing. And I was thrilled to read in Lynn's email a tribute in the Parish Magazine, of which she was a great stalwart and supporter, the Egerton and Colmer's View, and to learn a bit more about Gill's earlier life. And there's just she'd accomplished a great deal, and there's just a little paragraph here that gives you a taste of the woman she was. It reads, Gill always had a spirit of adventure and was very independent. Her friend of many years, Wendy Kirkland, recalls that in the early 1950s, Gill rode her horse, Fleece, from the pub in Northamptonshire where she and Wendy had been working, all the way to Devon, quite unaccompanied, 160 miles in total. Well, a bus ride or two from Dorset to Marlborough was nothing in comparison to that. And may Gill rest in peace and rise in glory. And may God bless you as you go to ground.